Welcome back to Hardware Unboxed for another top 5 best video. Once again, I will be looking at CPUs. In my previous top 5 best CPUs video, I picked what I felt to be the best budget CPU, best value quad core, best performance desktop CPU, best value productivity CPU, and the best extreme desktop CPU. Now that Threadripper and Ryzen 3 are out, I will have to revisit those categories soon, but for now I want to do my top 5 best gaming CPU picks. As always, I will be taking the CPU and the platform costs into consideration, and I'll be breaking things up into 5 categories rather than just picking 5 models at random and not really explaining why. The categories I'm going to include for this one will be best budget CPU, best affordable quad core, best value gaming CPU, best no compromise gaming CPU, and then the best second hand deal, something a bit different for this one. Okay, so this processor needs no introduction. Budget shoppers everywhere know the Pentium G4560. Upon release, it was crowned the only Kaby Lake CPU south of $300 US worth buying, and today that statement is as true as ever. That said, finding one for the $64 US MSRP seems to be a thing of the past. The new price appears to be $80 US or $85 Aussie. Still, that makes it the best sub $100 US CPU for gamers right now, and it's the perfect pairing for something like an RX 560 or GTX 1050 Ti. That said though, it will for the most part be able to get the most out of the GTX 1060 or RX 580, so for the money it's pretty hard to beat, and really to beat it, you've got to dish out some more money. Not interested in an affordable dual core? Well then, meet the Ryzen 3 1200. It's hands down the best value quad core CPU on the market right now, and it's excellent for gaming. In fact, it doesn't even matter if your intention is to game or get some work done. Nothing comes close for the $110 US price or $150 Aussie. The R3 1200 is able to extract the maximum performance from the GeForce GTX 1060 and Radeon RX 580. You won't find the CPU creating a bottleneck in any of the modern games either, particularly once overclocked. Overclocked, the R3 1200 also does very well getting the most out of the GTX 1070 and Vega 56 graphics cards, so it's certainly a very capable CPU overall, and for the money, there's really no better option. Now, you can buy the Core i5 7600K for $240 US, and this is arguably a better gaming CPU right now. Certainly does a lot better in titles such as CSGO and Overwatch and quite popular esports type titles like that. But I just have a feeling that in a year or so's time, the R5 1600 will end up being head and shoulders above the 7600K. Of course, that's all just guesswork, and I could be completely wrong, but that's just a hunch. The Ryzen 5 1600 platform costs are also much lower than that of the Core i5 CPU, and for those gaming at 1440p with say a GTX 1070, there's going to be little to no difference between the Ryzen CPU and the slightly more expensive quad core from Intel. Personally, I would buy the R5 1600, and this is the very reason I'm recommending it to you guys. It's got to be the Core i7 7700K. Simply nothing touches it when it comes to gaming. Really, there's no amount of money that you can throw at a CPU and get something that will spit more frames out in pretty much all modern titles. This could change soon though with the release of the 8th Gen Core series, and we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. Anyway, for maximum FPS performance right now with something like the GeForce GTX 1080 Ti, the Core i7 7700K is hands down the best choice. If you do anything other than gaming, like say content creation for example, then it might be a different story, but purely for gaming, this is as good as it gets right now. You're right, you've 100% nailed it. I couldn't think of a 5th category to nominate another current generation CPU. So here we have it, the best second-hand deal. Of course, second-hand shopping, it really comes down to the components you already have, but assuming no obstacles, what CPU should you be looking at getting on the second-hand market? Given what we recently saw from the 2500K in my Ryzen 3 overclocking gaming guide, I have to say this thing, despite its age, is still a beast and a perfect pairing for a modern mid-range graphics card. Of course, if you can get your hands on a 2600K or any of the unlocked Ivy Bridge, Haswell or newer Core i5 and Core i7 CPUs for a reasonable price, then of course that's an even better deal. Frankly, if you're gaming with a GeForce GTX 1060, Radeon RX 580, or really anything slower, then the experience with an overclocked 2500K is going to be comparable to that of the Ryzen 3 1200, and likely much better than that of the Pentium G4560. Maybe Intel can bury Sandy Bridge once and for all with their 8th gen series, but I wouldn't count on it. Well, there you have it. If you're a gamer looking for the best CPU for your next gaming rig, this hopefully will have you quite covered. The price range extended from $80 US all the way up to $340, and with a few good options in between. Now, if you liked this video, feel free to slap a like on and let us know what your top 5 best gaming CPU list looks like. And if you have anything else on your mind, be sure to share it with us. Might have opened the floodgates on that one. Anyway, I'm your host, Steve. See you again soon, guys.